a shovel in her hand, she roams the universe, exploring every land, no map, no reverse. Oh, Digger 420, curious Canuck, answers on your mind, never getting stuck. Riding waves of stars through the cosmic sea, finding who we are in the galaxy. She's got questions to ask and a fire that won't die, unraveling each task under the sky. Oh, Digger 420, curious Canuck, answers on your mind, never getting stuck. Riding waves of stars through the cosmic sea, finding who we are in the galaxy. She's got questions to ask and a fire that won't die, unraveling each task under the sky. Oh, Digger 420, curious Canuck, answers on your mind, never getting stuck.
Because, you know. Make sure I'm unmuted and everything. Hello, hello, hello. It is Thursday evening. Hello, Bold Steve. How you doing? It's Thursday evening. It's actually dark out. It's most definitely leaning into winter now. I don't think there's, anything. There's no coming back. It's officially winter. It's unfortunate, but hopefully this year I will get some snow in my part of the world, because we usually get snow, lots of snow, and it's beautiful, covered in snow. But last year we got nothing. So I'm really hoping that we have a better winter this year. But yeah, at least it's, it's getting dark out early now. So we're there. Now it just needs to snow. How is everyone doing this evening? I don't really have a whole lot planned to talk about. As per usual, this is talking with you guys. So if there's any topics you guys want to hit on, you mention them, I'll talk about them. If I don't know, I will learn. Hello, Buck. How you doing? Hello, eh? How you doing? So yeah, I had about an hour and a half between one stream and the next, and I was able to hang out in the Discord and watch the oh shoot. We started a new anime that Brian from Nucleatic Gaming suggested. I cannot for the life of me remember the name of it now. We watched the first episode and it was good. So yeah, that was a nice little break. It would be nice if I could spend more time of my day without ears on, so to speak. But you do what you do. Topic: the Northern Lights. Okay, that works. Hello, MSO Crazy Canuck. Hello, how you doing? There we go. Northern Lights. Northern Lights are beautiful. I have never been able to see them where I live now. It always ends up being overcast. If there's a meteor shower or, you name it. If there's anything going on up there where I live, it'll be overcast without fail. I did get to see the Northern Lights a couple of times when I lived on the coast, but nothing like the pictures I was being sent today. Buck is saying they were seen in Florida night before last. Actually, I wonder do I have it open? I had a friend in Minnesota. No, not Johnny. I do have other friends in Minnesota. It does happen. I know. Wild. It's crazy, but I do. La la la. There we go. And now I've got to figure out where I put us. There. Just a random photo from a friend. There you go. So absolutely beautiful. I can't believe it's just how gorgeous it is. The difference in the color. It's awesome. We get a lot of rainbows here, but we don't get a chance to see this. And the way they move in the sky is it's just amazing. So pretty. I would love to go to Alaska just for that. Bull Steep is saying 2023 was our central region's mildest winter. Last year felt more traditional, at least temp wise. Yeah, last year it was warmer than it normally is, and I think we had 3 snowfalls, none of which stuck around for more than 24 hours. Normally we have a couple of feet of snow pretty much the whole winter. It gets cold here, so it doesn't like snow and melt and snow and melt. It falls and it freezes and more falls on top, and yeah, we're covered in snow for most of the winter normally. Like I said last year, people didn't even need, honestly, if they were staying in town, they didn't even need to change into winter tires last year. It was very, very mild. Buck is saying in 2019, I missed a December 3rd, a December 3 planet conjunction due to cloud cover. Won't happen again for several hundred years. Yeah, I've given up between growing up on the coast, which is a literal rainforest, so it's always overcast there. I very rarely did I get to see anything happening, and up here it just seems to be my dumb luck the last 10, 12 years. Anything that happens to be happening above me is covered by cloud. It seems to be the way it's worked out, which is unfortunate. There have been some pretty awesome like meteor showers and comets and whatnot that would have been great to see, but yeah, I can't see a thing. Even tonight, I checked it because I know it's supposed to be going on, especially with all the solar flares, the solar storms going on right now. They're supposed to be amazing, but the ceiling is so low. If it weren't so warm, I'd think we maybe were getting some snow, because it's overcast and yeah, not nice. But it's warm. Like it's not hot by any means, but it's warm for this time of year. Even we should have had our first freeze before Halloween. Hello, PA Bat Fargo. Can I just call you PA? I'm going to call you PA. Bat feels like it might be taken in a bad way, in a mean way. Batty. So I'll call you PA. I went out 4 times last night, nothing. The night before, the lights were actually to the south. Interesting. Yeah, it's funny that I've seen them on the coast, which is on the coast. It's the city. Everything is lit up. I never would have expected to be able to see them out there, but I did, like, twice. I even woke my mom up once to show her. But I've never seen them living here. Buck is saying in April 2024, we were in the focal point for a full solar eclipse. It was one of the most awesome things I've ever seen. I remember that solar eclipse. And again, it was a dark overcast, so it really didn't, I was on the far edge of things anyways, so I wasn't supposed to experience much of it anyway. But yeah, it is the strangest thing. I would have thought this side of the mountains, this high up, the wind would have kept the ceiling, the sky clear, but But yeah, I would love to go to Alaska. at some point, just to experience the lights. Hello, Wild. How you doing? Good to see ya. Now, Wild actually, she was lucky. She went out for the Ella Fitzgerald, the 50-year commemoration service. That's sounded pretty cool. That's the sort of thing I would love to be able to do, but I'm on the wrong side of the country for, but that's pretty awesome. And it's really had me thinking about Jeff a lot. It's funny. I keep for no reason, just something. Oh, I want to sorry, not the Ella. My brain is shit. You know the one. Oh God, now I'm having a total blank. Oh, the big boat, the one that was on Lake Superior, and it crashed, and it was horrible. And the famous Canadian singer dude sang about it and stuff. And now I'm getting really dumb, and I can't remember anything. The Edmund Fitzgerald. There we go. Edmund Fitzgerald. And I didn't even type yet. So that's good. I just had to look at, for some reason, the faces of Ace Frehley, Austin Matthews, Jimmy Kimmel, and Justin Trudeau, and Sydney Sweeney. And that managed to get me that far, to the Edmund Fitzgerald. But yeah, and now not Norman. Gordon Lightfoot. Gordon Lightfoot is the one who sang the song about the stuff with the things and stuff. Yes. I got there. Thank you, Edmund Fitzgerald. Gordon Lightfoot. I got there. I didn't actually have to take it as far as Google. I just had to look at a different screen for a second. But yeah, that's the sort of historical thing that would be right up my alley if I could. Very, very cool. Very interesting piece of history that a lot of folks have no idea about. A lot of the younger folks, anyway, have no idea about. Buck is saying Gordon gave all royalties from the song to the family fund of those sailors. I'd heard that he passed just last year, wasn't it? Gordon Lightfoot. I think it was just last year, or perhaps the year before, but I know it was very recent. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was last year. Pretty sure. But I have been looking at, oh, wait a minute. I think I've got it here. Yes, I've been looking. Oh, here we go. Oh, all right. Here is another. Oh, if I can find, where did I put us? There we are. Here's another viewer sharing of, there we go, of their Northern Lights. That's amazing. That's awesome. The city underneath looks so cool. And the lights are just so vibrant. Even when I saw them on the coast, it wasn't that vibrant. It wasn't that intense. Very, very cool. Oh, clicking on the right. There we go. There we go back. It was a nice ceremony, and I got lucky. Some press guys let me up on the steps to film. Oh, cool. Right on, Wild. And I've got to go find. Oh, shit. I got to move this over. And then I got to move that one so I can get over to this one. There we go. And then I got ads. Oh, yes. Perfect. The Edmund Fitzgerald. That's the Edmund Fitzgerald link for Maritime Monday. Thank you, Buck. Thank you. And what's that one? Oops. Okay, this was just, oh, come on now. Shoot. That's the problem when you shake. You have the twitches. Occasionally you push buttons when you don't mean to push buttons, and so on and so forth. Right on. So yes, anyone who's interested, Jeff of Legal Vices was the person to go to if you had any questions about the Edmund Fitzgerald. Yeah. So those two links in the YouTube are links to the Legal Vices, to his two streams by two streams about it. Let's see, Shoe Feet, Amadig. Hello. Hello, MSO. How you doing? Hockey. Did I get the video you sent for Jeff? Probably not. I have just been telling someone that they've got to be better at being on top of their email. Because people send things to you. You need to be able to answer them. And you can only do that if you check your email. Let's see. Oh, that's the problem. Okay. No. I want. That works better. Ah. Oh, I did it. Woohoo. Okay. Thank goodness. Don't you hate it when even opening up your email, they have to hit you with ads? It's just silly. Oh, cool. Right. I remember now. You told me about it. Awesome. I will post that up. That's right. Thank you. You told me about it and then I forgot because my memory is a sieve. Perfect. So I've got it opened. Perfect. Okay. So I will drop. No, don't do that. I will drop that in the thing. I hope I can drop it. It's pretty small, pretty short. So I should be able to drop it into the Vices Discord without needing to have Nitro. Thank you. I will drop that. All the internet trouble was just Brave browser. Sorry for the false alarm, says Anonymous. Oh, that's okay. Actually, not just the Brave browser. There's a solar storm that's been going on for days now, and it's been really messing with a lot of people. My PC is messed up anyways. I actually, yeah. I'll find out about that. I need to borrow a car in order to get the thing to the place to get that fixed and blah blah blah. Any which ways. But more than the problems that I know are on the PC, just weird stuff. Discord didn't work right for days, and then it finally started working right for me. And another friend was having troubles, just getting booted for no reason. You're in the middle of a voice chat watching something, and you're just booted out for no reason. It's the same with YouTube and even Rumble. I cannot watch a live stream on Rumble. It keeps pausing and it's annoying as all get out. I've even got a free month subscription to Rumble Premium, which is going to run out in the next week or so. But I haven't been able to make use of it because Rumble keeps just pausing itself for no reason and repeatedly. So I just get annoyed and stop watching Rumble. So yeah, I think the solar flares are having an awful lot to do with everyone, as well as perhaps your browser. I know the only reason I use the browser I do is because it's the only one that works in StreamYard to share both video and sound. So if I want to share a video with you guys, I have to do it through Edge, because any other browser won't share the sound. It'll just share the video. I don't know why it's a pain in the ass, but it is what it is. So um, I'm kind of yeah. I'm kind of getting. I'm really over having to rely on the internet to get stuff done because it's not, yeah, it's not reliable. It really isn't. And it's frustrating. And I cannot wait. Um, I cannot wait for lots of stuff. But yeah, it'll be nice once we get some shit sorted. I I don't know. I expected to be a lot in a different place by this time this year. Oh, and I definitely didn't think I'd be being swarmed by fruit flies at this point in time indoors this year. Unfortunately, I'm trying to keep my strawberries and tomato going, and that means fruit flies. Pain in the ass. But yeah, I figured do a lot of things differently this last year than I ended up doing. Not at all what I expected. And honestly, since getting back from my trip to the coast to visit my folks, I've just kind of, I don't know, depression set in, and I've just kind of been, you know, settling low. So yeah, I haven't really, I don't know. I guess that's probably part of why. Um, I know it's the weirdest thing, eh, Buck? You'd have thought a whole new relationship thing would be like a woo woo. And it is. Don't get me wrong, it is. But yeah, it's also kind of tough when we're both on disability, and so neither of us have any extra money, but we're on opposite sides of the continent, um, with the border in between. Uh, it's a little bit frustrating and tough. That we got to stick to these for now. I had fully intended to have gotten my passport right away and had money and been able to travel, and I had expected by this time of year to have met face to face a lot of you fine folks. But problems with getting the passport, and one thing led to another, and the money got spent on other things. Life happens, and yeah, I haven't been able to afford to leave, even though I do have the passport now. um I haven't had the money to do the traveling. Uh I've got the trip there covered, and I think I've got a little bit of the return trip started to be covered. Um, but even once I've got, my tickets covered, I still have to feed myself. I need to house myself. If I want to go out and have a drink with you fine people, when I get to whatever town y'all are in and I'm going to. I need to have the money for that. So it's taking a lot longer than I had hoped. I really thought I would have been and come back by now. Um, I know what I'm saying. I was thinking life happens right before I said it. Yeah, it does. Peggy is saying, learn to go with the flow. God's time will be perfect. Right. And I'm trying to do that. Like I said, I think it's just everything. It's the time of year. It's the being on. for 3 straight weeks on vacation, and then coming back here, and just everything kind of hits you. And so I'm in a low slope right now, but um the good news is, after dealing with it my entire life, I do know intellectually, I know this too shall pass. And I know that, as sad and low and depressed as I feel right now, it's not as bad as it feels like it is. And I know, again, that it'll get better. It will get better. I just got to grind through this bit to get to the getting better part. Um, so intellectually, I understand what's going on, but try telling that to your mind when it's racing a zillion miles. It won't stop. Right? So yeah, I'll get there. I'll get there. And I'm doing better in this respect. I've been able to stream my Monday stream this week. That was nice. I could actually hear and understand my guests. That was very cool. So we're getting there. I am hello, Mr. Q. How you doing? And asshole, good to see you. Hello, Johnny. How you doing? Right, I know. Only Satan wants you depressed. And I get that, and I'm getting there, and I've noticed for sure that things, I don't know, when you get low and your thoughts get all low and everything just kind of, I noticed that I'm in that. So I know it, and I'm okay, and I'll get through it. It's just, you know, one foot after the other, one day at a time. I'll get there. It's just at the moment. So asshole is saying I love Cool Ranch. I like Cool Ranch too. I don't know that I love Cool Ranch. If I had to say I love a flavor, it would have to be nacho cheese. I really, really love nacho cheese. But yeah. So anyways, yeah, so anyone else who's out there and feeling the lows, this too shall pass. We're all in it together. So just keep on keeping on. It also doesn't help that this time of year is a little bit worse for pain for me. And of course, this coming Tuesday, I get to book an appointment or book my ride to go to my appointment in 2 weeks to the pain doctor. So, in just under 3 weeks, I will get to go and get my pain shots, and that will be lovely. So it's understandable that my pain levels are particularly high at the moment. The closer, this side of a pain shot appointment is tough. It is the toughest part of it. But I know it's coming, and I know how much better I feel after that. Hello, Dave. How you doing? Did I know coffee is a noun for survival juice? I did not know that intellectually, but I sure did know that in here. I I don't function right without my coffee. I've always got coffee. But yeah, so I'm doing better. We're doing the streams, we're doing the talking and shit. I'm on camera, which is great. I wasn't certain if I'd be on camera tonight. I may need to turn it off to medicate. But yeah, at least I'm here. Last night, by this time yesterday, I was in a much worse shape pain wise. So Johnny and Brian can attest. I was doing a lot of pacing and stretching and stuff, but yeah, I'm in a much better boat tonight, so that's good. I'm wondering, actually, since I've got a moment to look and think about it, Mr. Q, you're in here. Have you got any more news on statehood and all that with the Western provinces? I know you're kind of tapped into stuff. My news will not tell me anything about anything, and I have not yet had the chance today to to sit and devote time to listen to the people I usually listen to for news about stuff. Wild is saying your hair looks great, so that always lifts the spirit. Right? Right? The gray is gone. That alone makes me feel so much better. It didn't it's a little bit darker. I guess the problem is I am a lot whiter this fall than I was last fall. So the box dye that I usually use, the first one after summer, I guess on the whites, it grabbed really good, and it's almost a purpley instead of an orange red. But it's already looking a heck of a lot better than it did, and yeah, I'm thrilled that it's all all the same. It was getting to that point. I had to shit or get off the pot, and I was looking at myself on stream, and I just realized, no, I cannot live with more of that gray. I don't want to see my natural anymore. I saw enough. But yeah, dyeing the hair always makes a girl feel better. Always. Mr. Q saying, I do know that the stock market today tells me things are still going good for Alberta independence. And now that they have started the Northern Confederation, I don't know if I'm as excited, because there's a reason why they cut Vancouver out. And I'm hoping that you need 52% or whatever of the vote to leave. Ah, yeah. And Wild saying natural gray is overrated, right? Right? I tried. I did try. My mom's got beautiful, like, salt and pepper. She's got beautiful, not like there's no orange tinge or anything to it, and it's very salt and pepper. It's not like just gray. It's not dingy. It's very, very cool. But yeah, I know that we'd have to cut Vancouver out. We'd have to cut Vancouver out. Or or someone would have to go in to the Lower Mainland and kick the other forces out of there. But I don't think that would be able to happen. I was just on the coast recently for 3 weeks, and I tell you, people are brainwashed. People are thinking socialism is a great thing. Universal income is great, and that digital ID and going cashless is an awesome for society. So I think, honestly, we're going to have to just there. Yeah, sorry. You can go and be like part of Washington or whatever. But we can't have you here. Or I guess what would happen would be we'd become America, and they could just dangle there on the edge, not connected to Canada in any way, shape, or form, just dangling, kind of like Alaska's done for most of its career, eh? Trump is still supporting you leaving. Well, Trump would support us leaving. Trump wants us. We have all the everything here. It's the West that has everything. We would, the amount of money that we could bring you just in natural resources alone is enough to make a dent in your deficit. Now, I'm not saying it would be a big dent, but it'd be a dent. It'd be a big enough dent that mom and dad would notice, but not so big that you're having to, pull it out or try and replace a fender. A little dent. But it's a natural resource, and they're not bottomless, but we've got decades and decades and decades before we have to worry about things starting to run a little low. Vancouver has more of a population than Calgary, Edmonton, and Manitoba combined, right? Mr. Q saying, because I'm worried I'm just worried what's going to happen to Canada is what happened to Minnesota, and that you guys are going to get voted out by your big cities because everybody in the country wants to leave, like my family. That's well, and that's the thing. That's part of the problem is that it doesn't really matter what we want. The East, Ottawa, has always decided what we're getting. And I think enough rural Albertans and BCers, Manitobans and Saskatchewaners, I think those of us in the rural areas have had enough. And like I said, if it means um, amputating the coast and just being the rest of BC would be part of the independent Western Canada, um, so be it. At this point, the few down there have been controlling what the rest of us have had to live with for far too long, and we're tired of it. So I really do think it's possible. I don't think this big towns are going to hold us up. Um, I know Edmonton and Calgary sound from the outside. They like to make it sound like they're very, very liberal cities. Um, the Calgary is being, yeah, run poorly. But again, the people within the city feel differently than the people that are running the city. It's kind of the same across the board. Elections are almost useless at this point. The powers that be that control everything have set us on this path, and there's no getting off of this path. But I think there's enough of us rural folks um, to do that, to just amputate the coast and say, okay, fine, see ya. America will be your huckleberry. All you got to do is say yes. That's wild. Right on. That Spotted Lake thing is trippy. But if I was a Canadian, I would mind that. Oh yeah, the Spotted Lake, that thing's cool. And that's in BC too. That's like relatively close to me. That's in the interior. That's it's not on the coast. It's a really, really nifty lake there. Um Mr. Q saying Ottawa truck drivers bringing me Alberta lumber. Damn it. And the driver from Sudan, right? There's an awful lot of people. The BC Truckers Union is it the what are they? Teamsters are having real issues. They're not happy with all these people with fake um, driver's licenses, driving illegally with rigs that are not being kept up. There's a big uproar in that industry because of the ridiculousness going on. The same with the farmers. Um, they're sick and tired of the federal government telling them what they can and cannot feed their animals, which vaccines their animals have to take, and this, that, and the other thing. The growers are having issues because it costs more to go from seed to finish to final grown product than it ever has before. Not to mention the climate taxes, the carbon taxes, the tax on this and the tax on the tax on the tax for the tax about the tax. We're all fed up. We really are. And it's now or never. It's shit or get off the pot right now for Western Canada. If we don't do this in the next 2 years, while we have Trump standing behind us saying, yeah, totally, we'll give you statehood. Sure, you can come and be part of us. No problem. That's our leverage right there. So we've got to do this thing now or never. And I would really, really like to see it happen. I've never imagined not being a Canadian. But at this point, to get Ottawa out of the running of our province, if that's what we got to do, I'm okay with it. Oh yeah, the Spotted Lake. I was gonna go and look for pictures of that. Uh It's because of the different minerals. Here we go. No, stop. We want to watch it in YouTube. Get rid of that. And share. It's really interesting. It's a very, very cool lake. All right, here we go.
Did you know that Canada is home to a unique natural wonder called the Spotted Lake? Located in British Columbia, this saline endorheic alkali lake features large spots that appear in summer due to the evaporation of its water. These spots are rich in various minerals, including magnesium sulfate, calcium, and sodium sulfates, creating a striking polka dot pattern that is both beautiful and surreal. This fascinating natural wonder is not only visually stunning, but also holds significant cultural and historical value. For more fascinating geological wonders, subscribe to Facts Across Globe.
Isn't that cool? That's just so pretty. So very cool looking. Dave is asking what area I'm from. I am in the west coast of BC, British Columbia in Canada. I am in the interior of BC. So I'm in the middle of the province, I'm not down on the coast with Vancouver anymore. That's where I grew up, but I'm up here in the interior now. Weather's better. My friend the asshole is saying I need to start my own country. Nah, that's too much trouble. I don't want the headache. I'll just support whoever does. Besides which, the last time someone made a joke about starting a new country, it was 4 or 5 drunk dudes, Canadians, just hanging out after work, having a few beers, shooting the shit and joking, and they came up with the imaginary country of Diagolon, and they ended up being on the Trudeau administration's terrorist list because they were a terrorist organization trying to usurp Canada and Canadians. It was absolutely ridiculous. They went on a tour, a nationwide tour, comedy tour about it all. Just completely humiliated Justin Trudeau as if he didn't do enough of it on his own. But yeah, they really sold it to him. But we don't need to joke about me making up a country. I don't need my government coming after me for that sort of silliness. They're going to come after me for so many other things. Digger Stan. Taxes welcome to Australia. Yeah. I know Australia and Canada, we are both brutal when it comes to taxes, to the cost of living. Also shipping. It costs a fortune to ship anything from Canada to America or vice versa. And the same with Australia. For some reason, our postal services feel the need to absolutely gouge us for everything. I remember when our friend Aussie Overlord did his first trip to America from Australia. He surprised his name is Aussie Overlord. Anyways, he bought a bunch of stuff because he was there for the first time. But in order to get it from America shipped back to home, he had to pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars, like ridiculously huge amounts of money, more money than what the stuff in the packaging was necessarily cost. But of course, he paid it because he wanted to get the stuff there. But it's just ridiculous. I do believe that Canada, Australia, the UK, we're all on a similar path. They're just using slightly different tactics in each country to tackle the different things. And they're learning from us all. We all treated COVID slightly differently, and they learned an awful lot from that. It's interesting. I can see what they're doing now, and it's interesting now that I've come to terms with the fact that the globalist agenda is happening. There is no stopping it anymore. It is a thing, a foregone conclusion. It's interesting to take a step back and look at how the countries are being used as various pawns to test different things. Mr. Q, oh, I'm surprised you can pass the border in a semi truck with a headlight that's taped in. Yeah. The horror stories I've heard about truck drivers who are using illegal licenses, illegal commercial licenses. The companies that they work for own the person. They own the truck. They do not do the repairs and regular upkeep that is necessary of these ginormous semi trucks. And they cut corners all over the place. They also force their drivers into delivery schedules that are impossible unless they're, doping themselves to stay up so they can drive through the night, sort of deal. It's ridiculous and it's scary. And the Teamsters are tired of it. Climate tax is the biggest deal to the people I know. Yeah, the carbon tax is awful. And then Carney swore he'd get rid of carbon tax, and so he removed the carbon tax. But he brought in a new tax. Off the top of my head, I can't remember what it's called, but he brought a new tax in that's actually higher tax than the carbon tax that he removed. So in the end, he didn't remove it. He just named it something else and he raised it. Yeah, there's silver in them there. Like, do you know the amount of precious metals and gemstones in BC? If you know what you're looking for, there's so much, and it's still sitting basically on surface level. There hasn't been a whole lot of mining going on. They wanted to open a new copper mine, in BC here, and everything was ready to go, and suddenly the kibosh was put on it. So, the world is looking desperately for copper, and we've got copper for days here in BC that they're not allowed to mine it for some reason. And the same thing, we've got all this oil and natural gas and stuff. What if we were going to refine our own oil? Imagine if Alberta pumped the oil to BC and BC refined it. Can you imagine how much more money we'd make? How many more jobs we'd have? We are at the cutting edge of green technology. I'll give our country that. We are at the cutting edge of it, but we need to use it, responsibly. We need to, we need to be smart about how we sell our natural, like the lumber and the minerals and the gas and the oil, and we should be super rich and doing so well. And yet the Bank of Canada is saying that Canadians are just going to have to get used to a lower standard of living. That's not the way it should be. We don't need to be that way. It's the legislation, the red tape that's holding us down to where we are. So yeah, I really am not surprised about the talks about separating independence. What shocked me at first is now something that I'm kind of hoping for. Hello, Squab. How you doing? Gotta love Rumble worldwide reach. Yes. Yeah, Rumble rocks. Like I said, I'm having a bit of a time watching anything on Rumble right now, but I'm I'm blaming that on my PC, not on Rumble for now, because other people aren't having the same problem. So, aw, thank you, Squabby. Swimming in Digger's Eyes is so much better than the Spotted Lake. Thank you. That Spotted Lake is pretty darn nifty, though. I tell you what, the colors change, and it's very cool. Do I dare ask what your thoughts are on nuclear? I only ask as Australia is sitting on the largest uranium deposit in the world, but refused to go nuclear. Well, it depends. If it can be done in a safer capacity, I know that science has grown in leaps and bounds. I don't see why not. I think at the end of the day, nuclear is probably would be the best end option, especially with all the computing we have to do and the servers and, whole cities of servers that need to be, taken care of and cooled and whatnot. I think nuclear will end up being the one we have to lean on, but everyone's so scared of it and it's so easily usurped and used in nefarious purposes. Who knows? Oh, yeah, Mr. Q's reminding me, don't forget the truck drivers, they need to stop for prayer 5 times a day. That too. That's another reason why they're taking drugs to drive through the night. They've only got so much time in a day. They got all sorts of stuff they got to get done. Hello, Roy Rat. Good to see you. Honk honk. 07 to the free Western provinces from the free Western states. We got your 6. Nice. Well, thank you. Yeah, it's the stuff that I was watching yesterday was really intriguing. The fact that there have already been orders shipped and delivered under the new statehood freedoms, or with using the new statehood freedoms. I think that is phenomenal. It's actually as Alberta just proved, it's cheaper and easier to trade with America from Alberta to America than it ever was between Alberta and any province. And the trade routes are already there. They're already in place. It's the only difference is now the red tape is gone. So they can do it. Now the federal Ottawa is not able to say, well, Alberta, no, you can't sell that to them. You have to sell it over here and you have to sell it for less amount, blah, blah, blah. There is none of that. Alberta will sell what they want, when they want, to whom they want. And the only people who decide that are the people of Alberta. They'll have actual referendums and votes on these things, which I love. I would really love to have a vote before the government gives another few $1 billion to Ukraine or wherever else. I would like to have a vote on that. I bet you anything, more than half of the population of Canada, as it stands right now, does not want to send more money to the Ukraine. I'm pretty sure they would rather see that money get put back into our own country, helping those of us who are in need, since so many of us are in need now. There's not enough housing, there's not enough food, there's not enough jobs for all of the people, all of the regular Canadians, let alone the huge, massive amounts of foreign workers that have been brought in and refugees that have come through in the last decade or so. We can't afford to take care of them. We shouldn't be taking care of them. We shouldn't be taking them in. We can't take care of ourselves yet. So, I would really like the Republic of Western Canada. We could actually take care of our own people first. Wouldn't it be nice for people in Manitoba not to just expect their tap water to be brown and poisonous? Wouldn't it be nice for, the people of Alberta, all the hard work and effort they do, they put out, and the money that's earned from it actually comes back into their province to help their people instead of being sent off to Ottawa so that it can be dispersed amongst all the other provinces. The West is paying like 80% of the bills for the rest of the country. But we're not getting anything, any reimbursement. We're just getting the shaft. So, you know, I love the idea of the Republic of Western Canada. Yes, you did. You did make me blush. It's the tree huggers. It's the CCP who have got their hooks into us. You know how there's troubles with the CCP owning lots of land next to most of the American military bases in America. We have similar issues. They've bought the rights to most of our natural resources. They own so much property in Vancouver. That's why the cost of rental is so high in Vancouver, because people have come and rented these places and then just leave them empty. So they own them, but they're not in use. So there's people who live on the streets, and there's there's $1 million homes sitting empty. It shouldn't be that way. It doesn't need to be that way, but we've allowed it to become that way. We've allowed foreign people, not foreign people, but foreign entities to take over control of large swaths of Canada and its resources, and we can't let it stand. And honestly, I would love to just, flip China the bird and say, no, screw you. We're not honoring anything that Ottawa said. Screw it. We'll take care of ourselves. Honestly. That's the whole point, though, is all the refineries set up to refine the oil in America that you guys have set up, because that was the whole plan to begin with. Well, I would like to see us. We did have refineries at one point. They were in East, but we did do it at one point. And the point is, whether we refine it and then sell it to you, or if we sell it to you whole crude and you guys do your own refining. Either way, the way it's set up now between the states and Alberta, you can do that, and you can do it easily. Whereas they can't do that with their next door neighbor because of the way the laws are set up, meaning like BC or Saskatchewan. The amount of red tape that's involved in selling anything to a different, what do they call it, intra-provincially, is insane. It's damn near impossible. So that move, removing the red tape to trade with America, is huge, huge. Well, thank you, Roy Rad. He's saying the Western provinces, whether we stay independent or become part of the states, have your support. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's a weird turn of events, but we'll do it. Hemisodium thorium plutonium breeder. China just invented it, says Anonymous. Okay, hemisodium thorium plutonium breeder. Are we talking nuclear form of nuclear power? I have no idea. I recognize some of those words individually, but not all of them put together. Uh-oh, Squaw Bob. Better be Johnny L to counter. There's a fight a-coming. Oh, I think it's okay. I think Johnny will be okay. Earth is getting slammed by solar and geomagnetic storms this week after 3IA Atlas 3IA went around the sun. Canada gets it bad, but it makes for beautiful reasons to go outside at night. I know. No reason tonight, though, because there are no stars. It's just overcast. There's just cloud cover. But yeah, we've been getting slammed really hard, particularly hard, Canada, with these storms, the solar storms and whatnot. So I'm blaming that for a lot of the issues I've been having lately. Wild is saying, Digger, the United States has put a proper proposal of unity. Just join us. It's the only solution. Hello, how you doing? Good to see you, Dick. It's yeah, it's there. We're gonna use you as the cudgel. Um, give us our unity and we will play nice, or we're gonna go and jump into Donald Trump's camp and you guys can go fuck yourselves. hopefully Ottawa will figure it out. But to be fair, they just brought in the digital ID they swore they wouldn't bring in. He just tabled a budget that's spending ridiculous amounts of money on projects that are not going to go anywhere. It's just more money laundering ideas. Basically, the proposals like pipelines and stuff that he has actually okayed are things that have already been on deck for quite a while. He hasn't brought any new stuff in. Danielle Smith, of the Premier of Alberta, has been working her ass off, and it shows. She's getting some great deals. She's doing some good stuff, and Alberta is going to be vastly improved because of it. Alberta is also the only province in Canada that I know of that has no provincial sales tax. I believe every single other province has a provincial sales tax of at least 10%. Not Alberta, 0. That's always a bonus. And you can drink at 18. You don't have to wait till you're 19. So Alberta is fabulous in so many ways. Imagine integrated land trade routes free of tariffs from Alaska to Texas, right? Wouldn't that be great? Another thing, I'll finish your thought first. Just borders that say welcome to Alberta, welcome to Montana, no other BS. Yes, exactly. Ottawa can get hosed, eh? Right. I think it's awesome. The fact that the way they were talking about how the rest of BC can solve the problem just by surgically amputating the Lower Mainland from the rest of the province. Suddenly we don't have to worry about the CCP. They can keep their control down there, but it no longer affects us and what we do, because the people on the coast have been controlling the rest of BC for far too long, and they are so left. They are so woke. They're still getting COVID vaccines on the yearly. Like, it's yeah. Being down on the coast for 3 weeks, it showed me just how socialist it's become down there, and how accepting of it they are of all of these things. And we most definitely are not up here. Roy Rudd is saying, I grew up in eastern Montana. Albertans and Saskatchewan are literally blood relatives to us. That's the same with Mr. Q. He's got family on both sides of the border, and all of them, they're all hoping, Squaw Bob saying, join America like Jim Carrey and Wayne Gretzky. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The Republic of Western Canada is my ideal. But if we have to, we have to. And then it makes it a lot easier in some respects for Johnny and I. Because at least there's not the two different country issue anymore. That would be cool. Mr. Q says the Northern Lights are kicking butt again tonight. It's so pretty. You enjoy those for me, because I'm not going to get to see a thing. There's too many clouds. China attacked the world. They owe us. We should just seize everything and tell them to back off. Yeah, I don't think they'd allow that to happen. I guarantee you there are oil fields that are a couple of 100 miles north of Williston, North Dakota right now that are cross-drilling into Canada and sucking out Canadian oil. Yeah, I'm sure. Hello, No Fox. How you doing tonight? I guess it's your today. I guess it's 5 p.m. for me. So yeah, it'll probably be late at night or early morning for you, I guess. The Bacon oil field in North Dakota, Montana alone has more oil than the Middle East. Combine that with the oil in the Western provinces have. Yeah, the borders are meaningless to geology, right? Potnium still got to be nuclear. Hello, landmine lieutenant. How you doing? Good to see you. Liquid fluoride thorium reactors, 100% safe from meltdowns and scalable in size, have been a technology available to the U.S. for decades. We couldn't make bombs. Oh, well, see, you couldn't make bombs from it. That's the problem. That's why it hasn't gone anywhere. I'm sure there are many technologies out there that are much better in a lot of ways that we're not being let in on because they can make more money this way, right? The boomers and far left are terrified of the words nuclear and or reactor. Yes, they are terrified of words, just full stop words. It's sad. There are, I believe it was in Nova Scotia, who also said that their forests were off limits this past summer. So, you know, this is the way that province is headed or leaning. But Nova Scotian judges decided to ban the poppy, wearing the poppy in their courtrooms. So no one, staff, court staff, anyone in the gallery, no one could wear a poppy in court because it was a political sign. And they want to remain unbiased. Now, don't get me wrong, but the poppy is to remember the veterans who fought, and a lot of them died, so that we could be here living in the countries we live in, right? How is that a political sign? You know, like how do you logic your way into a point where that's a political sign? It's just ridiculous. The boomers and the far left, yeah, the wokies, they're so busy being scared. They won't listen to reason and think things through. Oh, Mr. Q's got beautiful northern lights. He's got blue-green lights now, but the yellow is starting and then the red. See, that's so cool. I wish. The lady from Alberta is a Banff. I'm not sure who that lady is, but yeah. Oh, Danielle Smith, you mean? Yes, yeah, she's pretty awesome. Don't let her fool you, though. She is, she's still one of them. She works for the parties that work for the people who work for the elites that control the shit. She has endorsed many a UN agreements. She is fully on board with a lot of the not so great stuff still. So beware, but she is doing great things for like Albertan independence. But more than that, cost of living and protecting Albertans from Ottawa. She's also done a lot to stop hormone replacement therapy and surgeries on kids. I think she's like the only province that has really gone out and said no more gender stuff with the children. No more medical gender stuff, no more teaching it, no more nothing. So yeah, she's doing some really good work. Rename Alberta to North Dakota. What am I eating for dinner? I actually only just had breakfast after Johnny's stream a little while ago. I had an egg sandwich. So I probably won't be having dinner for a good long time. And when I do, it'll probably be a big bowl of popcorn. The fact that China leases military ports for its Navy in Vancouver and Nova Scotia. I know. Well, to be fair, they've got secret Chinese police stations all across Canada to pick up dissidents and bring them back to China. It's scary. Peggy is saying, watch who you call boomers. Well, that's the thing. In this day and age, boomers aren't really boomers doesn't mean quite the same thing as it used to mean. Not all of you who were born in that generation that was called boomers, not all of you are actually boomers. Isaac Walmart, good to see you. Canada has fallen. I don't know if it's fallen, but it sure is getting shaken up right now. The sifting and the shaking are happening, and we're gonna see. We're gonna see how it falls out. The prime minister. You mean the premier? Sent me another picture. Okay, where did I put? I think I minimized that. I did. Okay, JKD Buck said that was Minneapolis. The pilot took that over the airport. Oh, nice. Okay. That's how he got the above the city view. Ooh, very pretty. I got to find us again. Share screen. There we go. And there's another one. Look at that. I love the blues and the greens. Right in there with the purples. That's so, so pretty. Can we? So cool. Yeah, I wish we could see it. I live in the ghetto. I live right on the outskirts of town. But it's fairly rural, and it's when it is a clear night, the sky is amazing. Pick out the foil hats. All political parties are shit. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. You can't get to the position that they're in without being dirty in some way or another. Right? Isaac Walmart, how many bodies have the how many bodies have the natives found in Kamloops? None. Not a single one. Not a single solitary bone has been found. There were no bodies. There were no mass graves. It was all bullshit and lies, and people are still believing it. It was funny when that news first broke about the alleged mass burial in Kamloops. The chief of the local band in Kamloops came out saying, that's not true. That's not what was found at all. There are no bodies. There is no mass grave. But the news and the federal government, they were like, you know what? We can use this to our advantage. And they just ran right over the reality of the situation. And yeah, they've spent billions of dollars proving to people that there are mass burials on in residential school properties, and there aren't. We have not found a single body, not in any of the residential school lands, none of them, not in the one in Kamloops, but across the country. There have been no mass burials anywhere. So yeah, thank you, Turdo, for that bit of shit too. Mr. Q saying, I love it out here. The Lord has done a wonderful job with making an earth. He might have effed up with the people, though. Well, it's not that he effed up with the people, but he had to give us free will. And with free will came the chance that we were going to fuck it up ourselves, which we did. I'm still a Gen X. So you got to be old to be a boomer, like 65 old Governor Tim Walz. My parents, I think, are the tail end of baby boomers. Their parents fought in World War II. So yeah, my parents would be the tail end of boomers, but they're not really. Well, yeah, I don't know. I guess in some ways they're boomers, but it's neat. My dad has started paying attention to the stuff that's going on in the world. He had said for a long time, once I retire, I'm just not going to pay attention to anything else. When I'm retired, it's all about me and what I have the things I need to get done in the day ahead of me. And that's it. I don't want to have to worry about, the rest of the stuff. And that makes sense. But it also, well, I don't know. Some things happened in the world and some crazy stuff happened, and lots of people did lots of insane things to other people. And yeah, now suddenly on the other side of that time period, he is paying attention to stuff, and it's quite interesting. He called me up the other day and asked me a question about something, and I said, I blew it off like, no, that's silliness, that's just drama to take our attention away from where we should be looking. And he said, well, where should we be looking? And I said, well, honestly, at this moment, I'm not sure. And we spoke a little while longer, and he made me realize that what he had asked me about, that I had just, poo-pooed basically, was actually, if I want to look into it and think about it and tinfoil hat the stuff, the scenario that he suggested was actually quite plausible, if not even probable. So yeah, it's interesting. I'm glad that my dad is paying attention to what's going on, so he can be a little bit more aware of what's coming. But yeah, I was very ready to just shrug a rumor off that's been moving around the internet, and he's made me rethink it. So always listen to different opinions. The more differing opinions you listen to, the more research you have to do to decide for yourself. Canadian politics are totally dirty. Yes, totally dirty. But then politics in general are dirty. And it just is. Mr. Q saying, honestly think a lot of things could get solved with everybody. If everybody that's a politician gets a 2-term or 8-year maximum to be in office, and you get out after that no matter what, and get into no other office, that would help. Age limits, term limits, lovely. I would like to see that people who are in charge of making decisions that affect the stock market and whatnot should not be allowed to invest in those things during their terms. Common sense stuff like that. Silliness, I know. But yeah, if we could just get rid of the rotten, dirty politicians and just get some common sense logic going, we'd all be in a lot better place. I know the peoples of lots of countries are just fed up with their politicians, with their leaders. It's unfortunate we don't have the ability to do that. Just, X out the government and start again. Wouldn't it be nice if we could just, reset, minimize the amount of jobs that the government even has? But the way we're going about it with this independence of the provinces, I think it's amazing. I think it's awesome. It's going to give us a lot of power, and it's going to give us a lot of control of our own selves, our own destinies. I don't think legalizing hard drugs would have ever happened in BC if it weren't for the federal government. I don't think anyone living in Vancouver or around the Lower Mainland, if you'd ask them, would say, oh yeah, legalize all the hard drugs. That sounds like a great idea. Totally sell them out of vending machines that they don't even have to pay money for. They just scan something and it comes off their welfare check. That's a great idea, right? Like, I don't think there's anyone who lives in the area that thought that was a great idea. But thanks to Ottawa, thanks to the federal government, that was a law that was passed here, and we all had to suffer with it. The freedom and control that we would regain over ourselves is well worth the growing pains and the cost it would take to become a new country, because it would. We'd need all of our own everything, currency, military, parliament. We'd need everything. But as hard as it would be to start that up from scratch, I think it's definitely worth it. I think we could really do some good things. Name a politician or a country that isn't dirty or doesn't have some kind of evil, underhanded crap going on, right? I don't think I can think of a single one. Boomers were born in the after 49 to 53. I want to say my parents are too old to be boomers and they're in their 80s now. My parents are in their mid 70s. Yeah. What am I? 70. Yeah, they're probably between 73 and 75, my parents. We have term limits. We choose not to use them. Our votes. Oh, that's true. Most countries, people could live so rich from our labor and resources. It's the greedy few who keep us living so poor. And that's exactly it. Who, not when. Okay, gotcha. It's the greedy few who keep us living so poor. Yeah. Yeah. It's sad and it's disheartening at times because the globalist elite, the factions that control the way the world runs, they have been playing the long game. They have been working on this plan of one world order for thousands of years. We are, at a deficit because we only have one life, and we can only do what we can do in that one life to combat it. And that's why I say, like, unfortunately, we are long past the time of stopping this one world order, the globalist agenda. We're way past that point. At this point now, it's a matter of making sure that we're ready and that we can teach others how to be ready when the shit hits the fan. Roy Rott says, my favorite place in Canada is in BC, Liard Hot Springs, a welcome and warm sanctuary on a long highway. Liard, why am I? Hot Springs, is that's not the Revelstoke, is it? Okay, yeah, no, it's not the Revelstoke one. It's off the Alaskan Highway. Okay, gotcha. I don't know if I've been to that one. I'll have to plan a trip to it. I'll have to take a trip out there and check that one out. I don't think I've ever been there. I grew up on the coast, so when it came to hot springs, there's Harrison Hot Springs, kind of where you go. And I know there's the hot springs up just outside of Revelstoke are phenomenal as well. That's about it. Those are the only ones that I can remember with any adult clarity. I'm sure kids on road trips, family road trips and stuff. It's a stinky one, but it's nice. Fair enough. Mr. Q says, I'm a Gen X, or you're a Gen X digger. You only a year or two younger than me. Oh, I know I'm a Gen X. I am a very proud Gen X. I was born in the best decade. I was a child in the best decade. I was a teenager in the best decade to be a teenager in. I came of age at the same time as the turn of the century. We were, yeah. I was born at just the right time. I love it. But I'm a very proud Gen X. And yeah, it's scary just how little the younger generations know about stuff that we just took for granted. It's quite surprising. Canada has gorgeous state campgrounds, or they did 20 years ago when I was leaving Alaska. Yeah, the provincial campgrounds are phenomenal. The provincial parks are beautiful. And there is another thing too. If we were to claim our independence from Ottawa, we could once again start doing the year-long fire prevention things, like allowing the cattle and the sheep to graze the provincial land. Um, Used to be that way all the time. You'd be driving, down the freeway, and you've got provincial land on either side, and there's cattle grazing, or there's a bunch of buffalo, or a flock of sheep or something. It was all free ranging land, and now none of that is allowed. You know, so it would be really nice to get our independence back just for that, so that we can start doing the year-round fire prevention stuff, which will allow us to actually enjoy going out into our forests in the summertime without having to worry about forest fires and the like. It would be lovely. You're still having trouble trying to pronounce that one lake's name, Mr. Q? Yeah, that's Mr. Q had brought out the name of a lake in Canada the other day. It was ridiculous. It was about as long and silly as the name of the town in Wales that the weatherman had to read out. Yeah, yeah. I have no idea how it would be pronounced. Roy Brad is saying it was the same in the US. The Echo left has taken almost all of that away, along with almost all recreation except hiking. Yeah, well, and then in BC, there were provinces that took away even the hiking, and said the forests were just off limits. Nova Scotia said you cannot. They were fining people $25,000 because they walked into the forest. It's just stupidity. And places like BC here, we used to do so much fire prevention, not least of which allowing the local ranchers to allow their animals to range across the provincial lands. There were so many things that we'd do all year round, and then we were able to have fires in the middle of summer in the forest. It was okay. We also knew how to do those sort of things without setting everything else on fire, you know. But yeah, people trying to save the climate, and it's just ruined it. Yeah, wilderness areas. Nova Scotians need to ride up. What's weird is how people can't talk to each other anymore. It sucks. That's right, Mr. Q. There is no talking, and apparently, if you don't align on absolutely every single item, you cannot be friends. And if you don't align on 2 or more items, then you must be mortal enemies, and that doesn't make any sense. The only way you're going to learn and improve is by questioning the norm and the known, right? So, but we can't dare question anything. We just need to sit back, eat our fattening food, watch our dummy TVs, and let daddy government take care of us, right? Nova Scotians need to rise up, says Buck. Yeah. It's the same in a lot of places. We all need to just stand up and say no more. And it doesn't have to be a violent thing. Just civil disobedience. Just no. Just say no, you know? When they were closing the churches but leaving the bars open, just say no. Go to church anyways, you know? When they're closing mom and pop shops, but Walmart's allowed to be open, just say no. You know, we don't realize how much power we have as a people if we all just say no. And they dismiss all the disappeared hikers in the Canadian wilderness. They have a serious but Bigfoot problem. Yeah. Well, not only that, Wild, specifically in the BC wilderness, we have our own version of the Bermuda Triangle, and in fact, I live within it. But yeah, we have our own Bermuda Triangle here in BC, and there's all sorts of folks that just disappear in that area, never to be seen again. All sorts of Anunnaki have been seen. The Bigfoots or Yeti if you're further north BC, because of course we get that cold up there. But yeah, we got all sorts of stuff. No. Oh well. Oh, I hate these fruit flies. They're so very annoying, and they love it here because the screen is white. But yeah, we got all sorts of weirdness that goes on out here, Canadian wilderness. Yeah, not letting the people hike. I remember it. It was sad. Yeah, that's just it. They never did try to say that the forests were off limits in BC, but they couldn't. Everyone in BC, their life revolves around the great outdoors. Everyone, even if you're a homebody, you enjoy the great outdoors. You enjoy, even from inside, you enjoy the great nature around us, and there's no way you can keep the people out. Damned Canadian skeeters, they can survive sub-freezing temps. They got little Carhartt jackets. Yeah, no, these aren't skeeters. These are fruit flies. I brought my tomato and my strawberries in, and so far, not great results. I don't think I'm going to be able to get that one tomato to actually become a full tomato. And these strawberries, though they seem green and leafy, they don't seem to be fruiting. And what fruit they do fruit doesn't develop all the way. So I don't know. I may just have to chuck them outside and be done with it. And then I can not have to deal with insects anymore. But yeah, the fruit flies are driving me batty. And I still have the tiny stink bugs in my house. For Pete's sakes, I just killed one last night. I was trying to feed the cats, and there was one crawling along, and I had to squish it. I don't understand what I did. But the insects all decided that this year, instead of doing what they normally do for winter season, they're all going to come inside here, and they're going to winter it with me and the girls. And yeah, the fruit flies are driving me batty. Absolutely batty. They wear North Face and Columbia gear. Yeah. Well, like I said, they all scooted in here before the cold fell, and now they're enjoying life. Hello, sweet girl. Hi. How you doing, pretty? She was just licking on that homemade catnip toy. My brother's woman sent me home with a bunch of catnip and 2 homemade catnip toys, and the girls just loved them so much I had to take one of them away. So Sweets here has managed to lick a hole in the side of the banana, and all of the catnip has come out all over the pillow on the couch there. Which way there? That right there is absolutely covered in catnip. You can't see it, but it's there. So I figured I better put the other one away until they're done with this one. But they're just loving it. All right. Well, they're fruit flies. Fruit flies that wear North Face and Columbia gear and drive tiny little Subarus. Fruit flies are progressives. Hey, just because you own a Subaru doesn't mean you're progressive. I love Subaru. My brother and I wanted to be rally racers for Subaru. Just because we like Subarus doesn't mean we're progressives. I promise. Now, Priuses, on the other hand, that's a whole nother issue. Hello, sweet thing. How you doing? Geez, Digger, I can introduce you to Nikki's mom and aunt. You'd be a canning superstar by the end of the week. Okay, yeah. There'd be more than enough stuff for you to learn how to do it. That'd be super cool. I'd love to learn how to can. I would also love to replace the slow cooker that I had that broke a couple winters ago. I really miss it. But also one of the things that I noticed this year in my growing, that I need a lot more space to grow, because I could not grow enough to keep me satisfied. I still had to buy veg throughout the summer. So yeah, I need to look at that. May have to widen my patch a little bit more next year, but there's not really a whole lot more space where I've got my garden. But I would really just love to be able to grow squash. I have not had any success with any of my squash, none of my pumpkins, not a thing. The neighbor was able to grow cantaloupe, but he's on the sunnier side of the little section of land that we were given. Hello, sweet girl. Hello. Subarus are badass cars. I owned one for a long time. Yeah, I always my favorite car would be like a WRX. I'd love to get a WRX just to, as my daily driver sort of thing. But yeah, I love Subarus, Nissans. They're the ones that did the Datsun Zs, the Z cars, and I've got a soft spot for those. So Mr. Q saying there's over 6,000 or 8,000 jars to can this year. Jelly, pickles, peas, beans, everything. Nice. See, I've made jam. I've done jam, but my grandma died long before I had any interest in gardening or canning or learning any of it. Roy Rod is saying, I miss canning, dehydrating, and food prep with my ex-wife. Every single guest at our wedding got a teeny little jar of raspberry jelly with a label. Oh, that's cute. That's sweet. Bry Guy, B Money, good to see you. Squash are challenging to pollinate. You're telling me. My zucchini I get so much zucchini. No problems there. But for whatever reason, the squash, not the same thing at all. The WRX are tiny inside. The Legacy Outback is the one you would want up there. Honestly, yeah, that was my like favorite drive around car. But honestly, my dad accidentally got into a car accident, and they ended up having to buy a new car, and he bought a Nissan Rogue. And because they are retired and they just sold their house, they were able to spend a little bit extra, and they got the top of the line Nissan Rogue. So all the bells and whistles, he's got them. And that thing, my God, it drives like a dream. It turns on a dime. You can feel it like hunker down and grab onto the road when you're taking the corners on the highways. And it was beautiful. It was comfortable, so comfortable to sit in. Every bell and whistle you could possibly want, sitting in the back seat as I was on the road trip. I had control of my own air conditioner. So if my stepmom needed it to be colder and I was too cold, I could just turn it down in the back, and it was great. I could charge my stuff while we were on the road. It was such a great car, and it handled so well. The gas mileage, it was phenomenal. So yeah, if I were to win the lottery and go out and buy a car, I would definitely buy myself one of those Nissan Rogues. It was a lovely ride. Being on a road trip in the back seats, it was such a comfortable ride. Pardon me. Bry Guy is saying try hand pollinating with a brush. See, I think I'm going to have to do that. I didn't think it would be necessary because there's so many bees. I didn't think I would have to, but yeah, I've 3 years now, 2 or 3 years now, and I've completely struck out with them. So, yeah, I'll have to try the hand pollination next year. Nissan make good cars. That was Datsun when we were kids. Yeah, exactly. My favorite car is a 240Z. I loved a 240Z. I had a boyfriend just after high school. He had two 220s and a 240Z, and he spent one summer putting the three cars into one and making one street legal roadworthy vehicle out of the three, and it was so much fun. I just love the look, the shape and the lines of a Datsun, a 240Z. Absolutely love it. But yeah, the Nissans, my brothers owned a lot of Nissans, as has my dad. In fact, my brother worked for Nissan for a while. So I've had a lot of experience with other people owning them, and I've never really heard anything bad about them. And like I said, this Nissan Rogue, phenomenal. It was the nicest ride I think I've ever been in. Yeah, just lovely. uh, yeah, now I've got the now I've got the happy kitty who's had the catnip, and she doesn't know whether she wants attention like petting or if she wants to bite and scratch and play. So when he gets married in a couple months. Oh, that's right. Yeah. He's getting married in a couple of months. He can get away with giving away cheap wedding gifts. You know what? Yeah, that was Roy Rat that said that, wasn't it? Yeah, it was Roy Rat. Yeah, with the raspberry jelly with the personal label. That was so awesome. I had friends who did like their own wine, and yeah, I always found that was most appreciated. Um, you can take a flower or a candle or something as a token to remember the wedding. But a little jar of jam, homemade jam, something like that is really a sweet and a personal touch. It's really quite nice. Good way to thank your guests for coming and joining you. And it's cheap. I know. Well, Boo, unfortunately, this morning, she woke up, they ate breakfast, and then she proceeded to puke breakfast up. So she's kind of been a little off all day. So yeah, she'll just snooze. she, I can tell she knows I'm talking about her. She heard her name. But she's also had to put up with Sweets. Sweets has been into the catnip quite a bit today, and so she's been a bit of a dick. She keeps wanting to play and keeps attacking Boo while she's fast asleep. Oh, Roy Rat, I'm so sorry. Cheap. It took hours to pick all them fucking raspberries, boil them, filter the seeds out with the cheesecloth, fill all the tiny jars, make the labels, put the bows on the fuckers. I know. It was relatively inexpensive, but a lot of effort. Yes. And then there's Sweet. She needs her treats or supper. Yeah, I know. We're getting to that time anyways, aren't we? Yeah, we are. Yes. That's the problem with this time of year for me and Sweets. For whatever reason, she and I are both very staticky. So it gets almost dangerous at times to pet her. I'd never seen the electric zap before in person until I got her trying to laying in bed at night with the lights off and trying to pet her, and all you see is zap, 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 and sparkles everywhere. And Wild, you're right, telling Roy you can't put a price on the labor of love. And that's just it. Yeah. Lots of effort, but it's going to be very, very much appreciated. Artisan crafted Montana Mountain Little Blackfoot River raspberry jelly. Then we're like $35 each today. Yeah, well, for sure. You can make a fortune. You make an absolute fortune. Yeah, I'm hoping the neighbor, there's the two of us that took over this little patch of land and turned it into a growing area. He's got he's got the goji berry bushes in the ground, and it's survived a couple of winters now, but he's got a couple of raspberries, a couple of blueberries, some blackberries, and something else. He's got a bunch of berry bushes that he keeps in the very large growing things, and they winter in his crawl space under the house, and then they come out for the spring and summertime. I am really hoping that he puts them in the ground at some point soon, because I would really love for them to, grow and spread out so that I can start picking enough to make jelly, make jam without having to buy the berries. Anyways, we're going at an hour and 46 minutes. That's pretty close. I like to try and keep it to about roughly 2 hours, so everyone knows what to expect, and so the cats don't totally get on me, because I know they will soon start. Oh yeah, see, Boo's starting to move. Soon enough, I'll be getting the, hey, we're hungry, hey, we're starving. So I think we'll call it here. It's been a really nice evening. Lovely shooting the shit with you kids. I enjoy these chats. This is my way of socializing, because this is my realm of existence. This room, this apartment, this is where I spend the bulk of my time. I don't feel comfortable going out in the wide world very often. So you guys hanging out and doing this with me is how I get to socialize and not be a total loner. So I appreciate you so much. Today is Thursday, so I won't see you again until Sunday. For those of you who enjoy pub trivia without worrying about points and winning and all that stuff, on Rumble only, the channel is No Fucks Given NFG, and on Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we do trivia, and it's a lot of fun. You learn a bunch of useless facts you never knew you needed to know. And it's a good time. It's a good group of friends. So if you're interested and you're bored on Sunday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, over on Rumble, No Fucks Given, come join us for trivia. Otherwise, I will see you guys Monday morning on Just Kidding LLC with Johnny. So have a great weekend, you guys. Bye.
Change from day to day. Science, art, or history's play. No path too twisted, no trip too thin. She dives right in where to begin. After anything, nothing's too obscure. She'll dig and dig a spirit so pure. From ancient lore to future dreams, every question finds its gleam.